Good afternoon to one and all. I welcome you all for the next lecture of Production and Operation Management. Kindly let me know whether my voice is audible and can you see my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So in the last lecture, we have started discussion on second chapter, that is nothing but forecasting. And in that forecasting chapter, we have learned the definition of a forecasting and what is meant by forecasting. Okay. So the summary of last lecture is nothing but forecasting is a projection based on the past event. That is nothing but we are predicting the future events on the basis of past data. Okay. So large amount of data will be available with the party or with the company. That is nothing but data is generating every day. Okay. Every day sales data, everyday production data, everyday material requisition data. So that data is generating every day. So we can consolidate that data as a month data or a quarter data or 6-month data or a year data. So that data will be stored for the further use or further reinforcement of the sales or the projection of a company. Okay, so that will be done by using the forecasting. Okay, that will be done by using the forecasting. Now we have also discussed about the prediction. Prediction is nothing but one kind of a guesswork. Okay, we can just guess. There is no any basis for that prediction. So in case of a forecasting, we are doing the prediction only, but this prediction having somewhat basis. Okay, somewhat history, and on that history basis, on the historical data basis, we are doing the prediction of future. That is nothing but the forecasting. That is nothing but the forecasting. Okay, so forecasting is a projection based on the past data. It is interface or inference based on a large volume of data on a past performance, and it is not a guesswork. Forecasting is not a guesswork. Okay. So in this lecture, we are going to understand first of all the difference between the prediction and forecasting. Yes, showing the hand to the person who doesn't know about anything, that is nothing but one kind of a prediction. But the another concept related to the prediction is also used in the industry. The person which is having somewhat, we can say that the experience in that specific field, that person also can predict, but that the basis of that prediction is nothing but the experience of that particular person in that field. Okay, so that will also be considered as a prediction in the industries. Okay, in the industries, that concept is also considered to be a prediction. Okay, so one can say that after reading the prediction word, one can say that the person which is having the highest experience or the good experience in that particular field, who can predict. Okay, who can assume that things will happen in a future. Okay, so that will be considered as a prediction. Okay, that will be considered as a prediction. And as we learn that what is meant by forecasting, forecasting does not require any kind of experience. Just here you required the past data related to that event which is happening in the past. Okay, and by considering that data, by using the suitable calculation, we can perform the prediction of a future. That is nothing but a forecasting. So that by keeping point in mind that prediction is nothing but one kind of a person in the industry who is having the suitable experience, and in case of a forecasting, by keeping in mind that there is no experience required, it is just the calculation of a future event on the basis of a past performance data. We can differentiate prediction and forecasting. We can differentiate prediction and forecasting. So first point in a prediction is estimate of a future event through subjective consideration other than just past data. So for in case of a prediction, you does not require any past data. Here the requirement is the subjective data, that is nothing subjective consideration or subjective knowledge in the field. Whereas in forecasting, estimate of a future event achieved by systematically combining and casting forward in a predetermined way data about the past. Okay, so in forecasting we have discussed that whatever the data is available, on that basis we are combining that data. Okay, so as we have earlier discussed, that data is generating every day in the industry, everyday sales, everyday production, everyday material requisition. So that data will be combined for a suitable time period, like 1 month time period, in that how much production is happen, 1 month time period, in that how much sell happen for that specific product, then 1 month time period how much material, raw material consumed. Okay, so that data will be considered, and that data suitably combined together, and on that basis the future prediction is performed, or the future is predicted. That is nothing but a forecasting. Okay, so what required for the simply prediction? So in simple prediction you required the subjective knowledge. Okay, and it will come after the lot of experience in the particular field. Okay, so good subjective estimation is based on a manager skills, experience, and the judgment. Three things are important for the prediction. Only prediction in a industry, that is nothing but you should have a suitable experience in that field, and you should have a proper judgment of all the parameters which are going to impact on the event. Okay, here I'm saying the event word is also applicable for the production and also applicable for the sales. Okay, so that is requirement for the prediction. And what required in a forecasting? Forecasting is based on the historical data, and it requires statistical and management science techniques. Okay, here the forecasting is a knowledge based tool for estimation of a future sales, estimation of a future material requirement, estimation of a future production. Okay, so for that you required the knowledge. Okay, knowledge of statistics, knowledge of management science, and also you should have a suitable or required amount of data of that particular event which is happening, which has happened in the past. Okay, so here in prediction what will happen, I may be biased. If I'm saying something, I may be biased. So I'm having the experience of watching television channels, and in that also I'm having the experience of watching Indian cricket team. Okay, so Indian cricket matches. So I would like to predict that India will win in this upcoming or ongoing T20 World Cup. Okay, so I'm having experience that it's India is going to win. I'm having experience that India is performing good in the last few years, and good batsmen with the Indian team, good bowlers with the Indian team. But this my point of view is biased one, because I'm a Indian. Okay, so more my we can say that the my opinion goes to the Indian team only. Okay, let us say someone American person who is also studying this all the 15 teams with the proper data, with the proper statistics, then that person will not be biased about the winning chances of any team. Okay, so there will be influence of anyone's judgment for the prediction. Okay, there is an influence of one's own perception, and it may be a biased prediction. It may a biased prediction because there is no basis required, only the experience required. So experienced person biasness we can see in the prediction statement, okay, in a prediction statement. Whereas in a forecasting, there is no influence of one's perception, because the data is available with us, and on that data basis we are predicting the future. So there is no one will going to manipulate the data, as the actual data is available with us, and due to that there will not be any biasness in the statement, or the statement will come after the forecasting. Okay, so that will make sense that the prediction is less accurate and has low reliability, whereas the forecasting is more accurate and having higher reliability. So here accuracy is depends on, in prediction accuracy is depends upon the person and that person's opinion about the event, then experience of that person about the event. So large number of factors will be related to that person only, who is going to do the prediction. Okay, and whereas in so that its accuracy will fluctuate, or it will not showcase the proper accuracy of the event in a percentile. Whereas in case of a forecasting, there is no biasness, suitable data is available, then one can perform the forecasting task without any pre-experience, but having the knowledge of statistics and the management science. So and there is no any biasness in that process. So the prediction by using the forecasting will be more accurate and highly reliable. Reliable means reliability. The word meaning we can say that जिस पर हम विश्वास रख सकते हैं. Okay, so ज्यादा विश्वास है more reliable. Okay, कम विश्वास है less reliable. Okay, so reliability is depends on person to person. Okay, in relationship also we can say that how much I am reliable on another person. Okay, so that is nothing but कितना मैं विश्वास रख सकता हूँ किसी और पर. So that shows the reliability. So in case of a prediction, one cannot be more reliable on the predictions or that particular person's prediction. Okay, whereas in forecasting we may or we should be on more reliable on the data which is coming after the forecasting. Okay, so this is the difference between the prediction and forecasting. If you have any doubt, any question, you can ask, or else you can write down the difference between prediction and forecasting. Write down prediction and forecasting. So make two columns and write down the difference. In first column, write down prediction, and in second column, write down forecasting. So first point in prediction, estimate of future event through subjective consideration, estimate of future event through subjective consideration, other than just past data, through subjective consideration other than just past data, other than just past data. Then first point in forecasting, estimate of future event, achieved by systematically combining and casting forward in a predetermined way, data about the past. Second point, in a prediction, a good subjective estimation is best. A good subjective estimation is best. A good subjective estimation is best on manager skills, comma, on manager skills, comma, experience and judgment. Manager skills, comma, experience and judgment. Second point, in forecasting is based on the historical data. Forecasting is based on the historical data, and it requires, forecasting is based on the historical data, and it requires statistical and management science techniques. And it requires statistical and management science techniques. Full stop. Third one, in a prediction, there is influence of one's own perception. There is influence of one's own perception and biasness in prediction. In forecasting, you can write no influence of one's perception. Last point, in a prediction, less accurate and has low reliability. More accurate and high reliability. Okay. More accurate and high reliability. Or is there any question, any doubt? So next point is need for forecasting. Okay, why the forecasting is required in the industry? Because we know that the industries are always running in the future. Okay, so running in the future means what? They are fulfilling the customers' demands which will happen, or the demand which will arise in the future. Okay, let us say the example of car manufacturing company. They are manufacturing the product, and that product will be sold out in the future. Okay, so let us say 1 month manufacturing quantity, or one of the product required a complete day to manufacture in one of the industry. Okay, and that product will be stored in the stock, and it will get sold out in after 1 month. Okay, so after 1 month's demand, by considering the after 1 month's demand, I am manufacturing that product now. Okay, or the company is manufacturing product now. Okay, so that is the scenario. Okay, if that product will not be sold in the future, then that product manufacturing cost, material cost, labor cost, that all cost will be considered as a loss for the industry. Okay, will be considered as a loss for the industry. So Here for the company, it is prime requirement for the planning purpose that the company should know the future demand of that product, and then only the company will plan the required facilities to produce the product. Okay, so which are the required facilities? That is nothing but manpower. Second is nothing but machinery. Then third is nothing but material. Okay, procurement of raw material. Procurement means what? Purchasing the raw material from the vendors. Okay, and now we are considering the car manufacturing company. Let us say Tata Motor, Mahindra company. They are not manufacturing all the components in their industry. Such a big brand companies just doing the work of assembly. Okay, they are purchasing the components from their vendor companies. So Tata, let us consider that Tata company is having thousands of vendors. So thousands of companies, small companies or medium scale, large scale companies, these companies are providing the raw material or semi finished products or assembly parts to the Tata company. Okay, if Tata does not know what will happen related to the sale in the future, then how come Tata will provide the order to their vendor companies for the procurement of their material or their semi-finished products or the assembly components? Okay, how it will be possible? And if the Tata does not know and orders are given and the sale will not happen for sorry, this is the scenario in the market. So to cope up with the situation, one company or the company who is producing the goods or the products, that should know the demand of the product in the future in the market. Okay, and then only the company will go for the production of the product. So majority of the activities of the industry depends upon the future sales. So projected demand for the future assists in a decision making with respect to investment in the plant and machinery and market planning and programs. To schedule the production activity to ensure optimum utilization of plant capacity, it is prime requirement to know the forecasting of product in the future. Okay, so what we required, first of all, we need to require the procurement of a material or a replenishment of raw material and the safety stock. Replenishment meaning is पुनर्भरण करणं. एखादी गोष्ट समजा आपल्या घरातलं तांदळाचा डबा आहे किंवा गव्हाचा डबा आहे, जर तो संपत आला तर आपण ते परत भरतो. ओके, परत फुल करतो किंवा ते मार्केट मधून परचेस करून परत तो तांदळाचा डबा फुल करतो किंवा ज्वारीचा डबा असेल किंवा काय अजून काय असेल तुमच्या घरामध्ये, तर ती ऍक्टिव्हिटी म्हणजे काय असतं? रिप्लेनिशमेंट. ओके, आई पण आपली एक सेफ्टी स्टॉक ठेवत असते की बाबा ह्याच्या खाली गेलं का विकत आणावं लागते नवीन. Okay, so that level is called as safety stock for that particular product in your home. Okay, now once the raw material quantity in the company goes to critical level. Okay, critical level. So at that time the company procure the same material from the market and replenishment action will happen. So that is nothing but what? पुनर्भरण परत एकदा केलं जातं. Okay, so critical point ला गेलं की पुनर्भरण चालू होतं. Okay, that is nothing but purchasing activity will start. So when to start this replenishment activity? Amount of quantity need to purchase, that should be known to the industry. So that is nothing but what? When to purchase, that is right time. And how much quantity need to procure, that is nothing but right quantity. So these actions are required from the company side. Okay, and to help to take the decision regarding the quantity and the time, the forecasting will be most useful tool for the industry. Okay, so that we are saying that the forecasting is the basic tool or the basement of planning. Okay, so planning is the management activity, and to support this planning activity, forecasting is very much requirement. So to provide an information about the relationship between demand for different products in order to obtain a balanced production in terms of a quantity required of a different products as a function of a time. When to procure a particular product from the market for the further production purpose, and when to produce that product so that the least time for the least time that product will be in a stock for the company. Okay, product will be in a stock for a least time. Okay, or it will be sold out as early as possible from the stock. That is most important, as we know that as we know that when the finished product is stocked, the capital of that industry will get blocked in that particular product, and the relief of capital from the product will happen when that product will be sold out in the market. Now hundreds of product manufacturing companies there. Okay, let us say 100 products are manufactured in one of the company. Okay, and when to produce a particular product. Okay, when there is a demand of that product is in market, at that time one should go for the production purpose. Okay, that is the scenario, and to help this scenario, the forecasting is very much important. Also, the last point we have already discussed, that forecasting helps to understand the trend of a market. Okay, for that purpose I have given one small example related to the electrical vehicle. Now the trend is changing in the market. The fuel costs are very much high, that the middle class person or anyone who cannot bear that charges of the petrols and diesels. So the people are thinking about the electrical vehicle, because within 2 units, okay, by consumption of a 2 units only, that is nothing but, if you consider the 1 unit price is 5 rupees, one electrical unit price is 5 rupees. So 1 unit will be 5 rupees and 2 unit will be costing for you 10 rupees. So by consuming 2 units, the electrical vehicle can run 80 kilometers. Okay, and the same to travel the same distance, the normal vehicle or diesel vehicle required near about 150 rupees petrol, or more than 200 rupees diesel. Okay, so this is the scenario. Now the trend is changing in the market. Now this trend will be sensed by the company, and they will start doing the, or they have started the R&D related to that trend, and they are producing the products. So number of electrical vehicles are produced by the industries, and this will happen after the forecasting only. Okay, so forecasting help to industry to determine the trend of a particular product in the market. So forecasting is going to provide a future trend, which is very much essential for product design and development. Okay, so forecasting is also helpful for the R&D department, so that, let us consider that the Colgate manufacturing company want to increase their sales, or want to launch the new product in the market. Okay, so the charcoal is more famous in India, so they have introduced the charcoal toothpaste. Okay, so that trend, or they have started something else, or we can say that the Sibaka type of material is also famous. Then Vithoba Dantamanjan is also famous in Maharashtra region. So they sense that things, and they have produced the products which will having the taste like the old products. Okay, which are famous in that particular region. Okay, so this is nothing but what they are sensing the demand, and or the requirement of a customer from the market, and then they are producing the similar kinds of products, or they are fulfilling the demands of a customer. Okay, so it will help. Forecasting is also help to determine the trend of market. Okay, determine the trend of a market. Okay, so that's it about the needs for forecasting. If you have any doubt, any question, you can ask, or else write down the points related to need for forecasting. Need for forecasting. Need for forecasting. Need for forecasting. First point is majority of the activities majority of the activities of the industries of the industries of the industries depends upon the future sales. 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 Second point, projected demand for the future. Projected demand for the future. Projected demand for the future. Projected demand for the future assists in decision making. Projected demand for the future assists in decision making. Assists in decision making. With respect to investment in plant. With respect to investment in plant and machinery. Investment in plant means what? Purchasing the land, purchasing the raw materials, these or the extra facilities. Let us say I am having cupola furnace. Okay, so should I go for the induction furnace? So that is nothing but the purchasing of the plant facilities and the machineries. Okay, in future my production is going to be double. So should I purchase one extra CNC machine or one extra VMC machine? So that decisions will be considered while doing the planning. Okay, so investment in plant and machineries, comma, market planning and programs. Market planning and programs. Market planning and programs. Okay, so in that also I would like to what helps uh, for market planning and programs. I would like to give one example that uh, let us consider that Virat Kohli is doing the ad of Volue oil. Okay, one of the 4-stroke oil is there, and why that Volue company selected Virat Kohli, and why he signed that MOU, or we can say that contract with Virat Kohli. So one important thing is that the company forecasted that Virat Kohli's the past data or the performance is very much good. So at least next 5 to 10 years, Virat Kohli will be consistent about his performance. Okay, and his craze will be there in the market. Okay, and on that data basis, they have given the proposal or the contract to the Virat Kohli. Okay, now the contract, how much time period that contract should be done, or that contract should be validated by the industry or that particular person, that is also important one. Okay, let us say Virat Kohli miss that company forecasted that the performance of Virat Kohli is consistent for last 5 years, so it will be more consistent for next 7 to 8 years. So we will make the decision that next 8 years we will having the contract with the Virat Kohli as a brand ambassador for the Volue oil or 4-stroke oil. Okay, so that is also the forecasting is also helpful for the marketing planning and the programmers. Okay, marketing planning or and the programs. Okay, so third point, to schedule the production activity, to ensure optimum utilization of plant's capacity. To schedule the production activity to ensure optimum utilization of plant's capacity. Okay. Next point. Fourth one, to prepare material planning. To prepare material planning to take up replenishment action to make the material available at right quantity and right time. Full stop. Fifth one, to provide information about the relationship between demand for different products. In order to obtain a balanced production, in terms of quantity required of different products as a function of a time. And the last point is forecasting is going to provide a future trend. Which is very much essential for product design and development. Full stop. Okay, getting everyone? Need for forecasting. Now the next point is the types of a forecasting. Okay, there are two different types of a forecasting. Only two types are there. So first one is a short term forecasting and second one is a long term forecasting. Now you are doing the forecasting for less than 1 year. Okay, then that forecasting will be termed as a short term forecasting. And if you are doing the forecasting more than 5 years, then that forecasting will be termed as a long term forecasting. Now, what are the different example of a short term forecasting? Let us say today I am having the workload of 100 quantities. Okay, that is nothing but I need to produce the 100 quantities. Now, what will be my manpower? What will be my the machine requirement? Which machine should I require? And on that basis, what will be my forecasting for 1 month? What will be my production quantity for 1 year, 1 month and 1 year? Okay, so the time period, decide the time period, and on that basis the parameters will be decided and the forecasting of that particular parameter is made up. That is nothing but short term forecasting. Okay, so it is the time dependent forecasting. So machine loading, scheduling and budgeting, this parameter also, or these points are also considered under the short term forecasting. Let us say my budget for 1 year will become a 10 crore rupees, or I'm going to invest a 10 crore rupees for production of for my small scale company. Okay, so that budgeting, okay, 10 crore rupees required to acquire the raw material, or it will be considered as an investment on a raw material and on the plant facilities, and I will get somewhat 30% of a profit from that, or 50% of a profit from that. That is the another part. But uh, uh, this type of a forecasting will be considered for 1 year time period or 6 month time period. Okay, and accordingly I have to maintain the cash flow in the company. Okay, accordingly I should maintain the cash flow in the company. So that type of a forecasting will comes under the financial forecasting. Now in production reason, we can say that the material control, okay, amount of raw material required to meet up the demand of a 1 month time period, to meet up the demand of a 6 month time period, or to meet up the demand of a 10 month time period or 1 year time period. So that is nothing but material control. Okay, I have to look after the material requirement for the production purpose. Okay, and if there is any sudden change in the demand, so accordingly I should fluctuate the inventory of raw material and the inventory of finished goods. Okay, so that is nothing but material control. Scheduling is loading, and scheduling means what? Assigning the particular job for the particular machine and the worker. Okay, so load assigning and scheduling that, so when to produce that product. Okay, so that is nothing but scheduling. So forecasting which covers less than 1 year, example material control, loading, scheduling and budgeting. So these are the examples of a short term forecasting. Then the long term forecasting means the forecasting made for more than 5 years or the 10 years. That forecasting will be considered as the long term forecasting. So which examples we can consider: product diversification, sales and advertising budgets, capacity planning, investment planning. Okay, so product diversification. Uh, Best example is nothing but the electrical vehicle. Now most of the companies are diversifying their product. Okay, from petrol bikes to the electrical bikes, from petrol four-wheelers to CNG four-wheelers, or LPG operated four-wheelers, or electrical four-wheelers. Okay, so that is nothing but what they are making. Diversification means what? Understanding the demand of a customer, okay, from the market, and implementing that demand in our product. Okay, or the understanding the requirement of a customer from the market and implementing that requirement in our product. Okay, so that our product will be more user friendly to the customer, and the customer will be satisfied after the use of that product. Okay, so that is nothing but what? Product diversification. So product diversification term is considered in a R&D. Okay, research and development. So R&D required long term planning. Okay, so 5 year 10 year planning. So not a single or not any company will come up with a new product in a one day. Okay, so lot of requirements to launch the new products are there. Okay, now Tesla want to launch their electrical vehicle in India. Now what type of a management is required for that? So that is one type of a case study. Okay, so first of all the Tesla want to sell their products in the India, but our transportation cabinet, Nitin Gadkari, told to Elon Musk that we will not purchase the product which is manufactured in China and sold out in India. Instead of that, you produce your product or the Tesla cars in India, and you sell out to other world. Okay, or sell out in India also. We will support you. Okay, so that is the first of all negotiation between the two industries, and Elon Musk need to understand the requirements of Indian people, and accordingly he has to design the vehicle, and then he has to launch that his product in the Indian market, okay, according to the Indian requirement. Now consider that if Elon Musk take up the same car which is manufactured in America, same car, if you provide to the Indian customer, then what will happen? We know that in India we are always taking the left side, okay, when we are traveling on the road we are taking the left side, okay, and in America they are taking the right side, okay. So this is the basic difference. The American cars will not work in India, or Indian cars will not work in America. So need to change the complete layout of product or the car before launching the product in Indian market, or before launching the Indian product in the American market, okay. Sales and advertisement budget, similar kind of things. I have explained about the Virat Kohli, that for the Volvo oil, which is four stroke engine oil, and for that Virat Kohli is the brand ambassador for that oil, and uh, uh, um, this this tie up or this contract will run for more than 5 to 8 years, okay. So this forecasting about the sales, what will be the sales after 5 years, who will be the advertising partner with us, how much effective or how much profit will happen to the industry if you change the advertising partner. Now there is more impact on a Byju's sale because of Aryan Khan's case in the market, okay, or Aryan Khan's case, and due to that, the Shah Rukh Khan loses his valuation in the market, and it will impacted on Byju's sale. So that Byju decided that we will go with the Amitabh Bachchan, okay, and uh, uh, now we can see in the Byju's advertisement, Amitabh Bachchan is there, who is advertising the Byju, okay. So that is the things need to understand before going for the large or the decisions which will impact largely on the industry. So these decisions are very much important for the industry. Also, one more example I'm having. Some of the students may having the fan of Cristiano Ronaldo, football player. He just transfer the Coca-Cola bottle from one place to another place, and he raised the water bottle and said that drink more water. Because of that, it will impact on Coca-Cola's share market price, and the valuation of a Coca-Cola will decrease drastically, okay. So this is the negative advertisement of any of the for any of the product, okay. So management need to tackle that such a impacts which are arises from the market, okay, and accordingly the budgets, advertising themes need to change or need to forecast the future trend, and accordingly the advertisement should be prepared. Then capacity planning. What is meant by capacity planning? Now capacity will be increased for any industry if the area of manufacturing will get increased, or we can say that the manpower increase. Then second one is nothing but machinery, number of machineries in the plant will get increased, or advanced technologies will be implemented in the in the industry. Like we have discussed that the production types of a production system, once the system switches from mass production to continuous production, so large amount of volume will be generated related to that particular product. So need to think upon a capacity planning, and once the capacity is installed for a particular plant, and it will not be changed for the small run, okay, or within a short time period, okay. Let us say if you have installed the 10 machineries and next day you want 20 machinery, it will not happen easily. You need to acquire the more area to produce set up that machinery. Then electricity power requirement need to consider in that case. Then the manpower requirement, skillful manpower requirement need to consider in that sense. Then engineering information need to think on that. Okay, material requirement need to think on that. So capacity expansion will not happen within a one day. Okay, so that we have to consider the capacity, or we have to establish or install such a capacity that it will fulfill the demand of market for next 5 to 10 years. Okay, so capacity planning is also comes under the long term decisions. And capacity planning need to enhance the capacity, we require to provide the proper investment, to purchase the machine, to purchase the land, to provide the shelter, or to provide the proper roof, to provide the proper facilities in the industry. The investment is required. Okay, so investment in a particular plant is also considered as a long term forecasting. Now you can say that the share market, if you pick up any share, then you are investing that in that particular share for the long time period, and then only you can see the 1,000 rupees or lakhs rupees investment converted into crores rupees in profit. Okay, so it will happen after a long time period. Okay, and for that purpose you require a patience. Okay, so such a examples are there which are considered to be a long term forecasting, which will be considered as a long term forecasting. So forecasting which covers the period over 1 year, that is 5 to 10 years. Example, product diversification, sales and advertising budgets, capacity planning, investment planning. This will comes under the long term forecasting. Getting everyone? Is there any doubt, any question? If you have any doubt, any question, you can ask. Or uh, any another example with you related to that, you can suggest me. I will add up that example in my dictionary. No issue. Okay, so okay, so write down types of forecasting. Types of forecasting. First one is short term forecasting. First one is short term forecasting. Short term forecasting. Short term forecasting. In that, write down forecasting which covers less than 1 year. Forecasting which cover less than 1 year. Forecasting or forecasts which cover less than 1 year. Forecast which cover less than 1 year. Example, material control, comma, loading, comma, scheduling, and budgeting. Material control, comma, loading, comma, scheduling, and budgeting. The next point is long-term forecasting. Long-term forecasting or long-term forecasting. In that, write down forecast which cover the period over 1 year. Forecast which cover the period over 1 year. That is, in bracket you can write 5 years or 10 years. 5 years or 10 years. Example, product diversification, comma, sales and advertising budgets, comma, capacity planning, comma, investment planning, capacity planning, comma, investment planning, Okay, this is about the types of forecasting. Okay, so today we learn the difference between prediction and forecasting. Second, needs of forecasting, and third, types of forecasting. If you have any doubt, any question about these 3 points, you can ask now. Meanwhile, you can put up your roll numbers in the chat box.